stretch of group stages here, and for many teams, it could be the last they see of Challenger. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm Daniel Cifadrakos. I said that twice now. I'm a little excited.
It's fine.
You're James Stress-O'Leary. They know you.
It's fine. Sifa's come in. Pulse's watch has ended. I hope you remember to hold the door on the way out for him. But let's get into our fifth game of the day.
Of course, it's SZ6 versus mousesports, and let's jump right into the starting lineups. On the side of SZ6, it's NIQ in the top lane, Syncroft in the jungle, Godbro in mid, Nardius on AD carry, and Super A's on support.
So about this lineup, coming into this was like, man, this lineup's going to be great. They've got so many carries. It's going to look great. Syncroft has been one of the standout players, I think. And when you look at his Nidalee performance, he has been dominating a little bit more. But I was glad to see Godbro back yesterday in yesterday's games. Actually played aggressive, finally.
That was good. I remember when he picked Zilean, we were all like, what is he doing? Like, what is this? And then, like, yeah, he's landing great bombs, but it's like, this isn't, you're not killing people, man. This is not, we know you, and you're really all about killing people, and this is not your style of pick, and he's bringing it out again.
Yeah.
It seems to be working out well for him, and additionally, Syncroft, as you said, doing incredibly well on Nidalee. I think we were mostly skeptical about him. We didn't know a whole lot, but things are working out really well for him overall.
Yeah, really, really well. So I'm excited to see exactly how he can match up today, because on the other side is a team that have struggled out of the jungle somewhat with some of their unorthodox picks, and that is on the red side. The opponents for this game, it's going to be mousesports with Wardane in the top lane, Dan in the jungle, Caps in the middle lane, Upset and Norscarin as AD carry and support.
Yeah, of course, Mouse losing out to ESG yesterday. Aurelion Soul pick, that was pretty hype. I was excited about that, but an incredibly bloody game, and I would say a little bit messy on both sides, honestly.
Yeah, messy. I mean, we did finally, however, see Dan go back to a meta jungler. I was like, yes, he's playing Elise. It's so good. It's exactly what we need.
It started so good, too. The man, like, flashes over the wall to deny the Maokai gank. It's like flash cleanse from Aurelion Soul to stop the CEC, flash over the wall from Elise to lock the tree under the tower. Gets him, burns him down, first blood. We're like, wow, amazing start. And then it was just immediately downhill from there. Yeah,
the other side of that is he then got pushed around a whole bunch by Obvious. Obvious went huge in that game. So the jungle wasn't really anything to write home about in the end of all things for Mouse, unfortunately, once again.
So exciting. Pick bans were like, great pick. Early game, we're like, wow, great kill. And then, as you said, just immediately kind of just did not work out.
I did like Caps, however. You mentioned the Aurelion Sol, that play in the mid lane where he stopped the Maokai coming in and then ended up with like 6 kills.
And the crazy thing is that the game, I feel like he played the game so well, but he played the level 1 in the most bizarre way ever.
Right.
Obviously, on Aurelion Sol, for those of you who aren't familiar, you start the W and you're going to max it first because it gives you more damage. But we just watched him take a point in that level 1 and then just walk at Lissandra. Like, please fight me. And just continue to walk at Lissandra. Like, there's creeps. Creeps are hitting people. Lissandra's hitting Aurelion Sol, and Aurelion Sol is just slowly marching towards her.
I would have liked to see Mouse do more of what CLG were doing at MSI with the Aurelion Sol, though, and that's stag it in the base and just run out with, like, the star that's, like, over mid lane, and you just use Aurelion Sol to engage. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of Mouse doing that. But
I remember that spot in MSI where the star was, like, as big as the lane, and SKR or SKT are just like, no. Please, we don't want this. Like, please leave immediately. Well, we'll have to see if Aurelion Sol comes out here again today for Caps. It did work out pretty well despite their loss. Maybe looking to take it once again, but the Lucian already going to be banned out, as well as the Quinn, taking that one away from Godbro, one of his more successful aggressive picks.
Yeah, blast from the past from him. We're not expecting it as a mid lane pick. He pulled it out, I think, day 2 or day 3. Did really well on it. Actually fixed a lot of SZ6 problems where they were like, oh, we don't really know how to win a game. Put Godbro in a side lane on Quinn and see if he can duel people out.
And I mean, to be fair, that game too, I mean, a lot of pressure coming in from the AD carry position. Nardius did it incredibly well as well on the Lucian that time around. But Lucian and Quinn are both off the table, so I'm wondering how exactly SZ6 are going to adapt these strategies. Nidalee taken away, Ryze taken away, both of these kind of power picks. And no surprise to see Dan taking the Nidalee away. He was bullied out by the Kindred. We can only imagine how tough that Nidalee matchup would be.
Yeah, it's... to be honest, I don't know what Dan's going to really run. I never really know anymore. It's like, well, is he going to play the Nunu? Is he going to play the Rek'Sai?
The Nunu.
The Nunu.
Delicious.
Sorry for reminding you.
Yeah, a little traumatic. Of course, Trundle going to be the final ban on the side of SZ6. And we have to remember a lot of pressure on Chef to pull out the win here. Mouse, they're free and clear. They may be out of contention, so the pressure's off them in terms of performance. And we've seen a lot of teams Melty especially, come out of nowhere when that pressure is off. They go, their level to take down low priority, like insane. They played like gods, and I'm wondering if we can see the same from Mouse today as the finalists here band does come out.
The way you say that, Mouse actually have a history of doing it as well. They were the team that played like the Teemo Gangplank and beat like an undefeated team in Challenger. It was ridiculous. So for Chev with Nidalee gone, I think that's probably the best pickup right now, looking at it.
Kindred lock-in going to be first. Mouse maybe feeling a little bit uncomfortable. That is exactly what shut down yesterday.
And I like it. It's strong for SZ6. On the other side now, would expect, I was going to say the Lucian, but it's already banned away from this game. So now we get to see what Mouse are going to prioritize fairly highly. Will they go for an AD carry here? Will it be all supports? Honestly, nothing really stands out for me that Mouse have particularly played themselves that I'm like, they should get this here.
It's really all over the place, right? I felt like we were pretty happy with Caps on a number of different picks, but the rest of the team, I feel like we just weren't blown away. Never at any point where we're like, why aren't they picking this every game? This is the pick that's making things happen. So really curious to see what they do lock in here, of course. A lot of power left on the table. Potentially strong picks left open. Of course, Alistar taken off, or Alistar going to be picked up here in addition to the Echo as the final picks come through. So I would guess most likely that Echo top lane for Wardane, although we could see it flexed.
All about that engage right now with these two. On the other side of things, looking at it, Victor, if they want to blind pick it for SZ6, Godbro can play it, so it wouldn't be too much of a surprise to see it. Nick as well in the top lane in this situation normally picks Maokai. It's just like, I don't really know what I'm going up against. I can assume it'll be Echo.
Yeah, he's so good on it though, which is the thing. I feel like he always is a good role player, and even if he falls behind or suffers a little bit in lane, he's always where he needs to be in those coming fights. And so it feels like you want a safe pick, you want to maybe save time to pick that mid lane role, or you know, the rest of your bot lane out. You can do whatever.
That Caitlyn is locked in. I've been sat back here with the lights on it thinking, are they actually going to lock that? Turns out it's been locked for a while, Sifa, so...
And Caitlyn, I say this a lot, breakout pick for the tournament. Need to find a new keyword to describe champions becoming popular again, but...
I feel like, you know, we saw a lot of Caitlyn, or a couple of games Caitlyn at MSI. So I don't know whether it's breakout in just this tournament alone. Certainly has risen in popularity over the last few months spectacularly. So excited to see it in this setup with a Braum now. That's not a lane we normally see. We normally would see like Janna Caitlyn. Or range support Caitlyn.
And it feels like Caitlyn isn't really going to use the strengths of Braum too well. She's not going to very rapidly proc those stacks. But if someone ever does tank a trap, they're guaranteed pretty much to get the stun follow-up from Braum. And additionally, maybe not the best pick for lane, but potentially more for the team fight.
Potentially. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing Nadius playing it, and you mentioned that as well. If you also get the Braum passive and then put the trap underneath, it's the same kind of like 1-2 combination. Nice little tricky play. Don't do the Nunu. Don't do the Evelynn. Oh, they're trolling us.
Okay, all right. We got excited. We always do with Dan. You never know what he's going to do, but it is going to be the Ezreal coming in for the bottom lane. Safer AD carry, and of course, once again, the Elise coming out from Dan. Good start on it yesterday. Just has to make sure that he can keep that running as the game moves forward.
So, Alistar, Ezreal for the bottom lane. Basically, the never die lane at that point. It's like, how are you ever going to get to him?
Yeah, it's kind of this. We're ready to farm lane.
Yeah,
we're going to get the tier. You're going to be unhappy about this laning phase. But Caitlyn, I think, you know, pretty content to just trade farm there.
Yep, can obviously get some sense of poke down, but Caitlyn also is really frustrating to play against as an Ezreal sometimes, because Ezreal obviously somewhat reliant on poking down from afar if you're trying to at least be any sense aggressive, and then Caitlyn's like, yeah, I've got all the minions in front of me because I'm super far range, so it's just like, good luck getting a Mystic shot through. This would be a 1-2 that SZ6 pretty much you could have...
This is by the book, I think.
It's like you could have done that Magician's trick and put it in an envelope and then like written it before the picks and bans and been like, for their solo laners, they'll pick
Maokai LeBlanc. And then indeed, of course, it is going to be the Maokai LeBlanc God Bro. I feel like it's his signature pick at this stage. An incredibly aggressive champion. Works wonders for him. And NIQ on the top side.
It's fairly reminiscent of that first day where LeBlanc was the mid lane pick for Godbro. Well, he went huge, got like 4-0.
We have to hope for their sake it's not reminiscent of the first day, because it started so good.
So good.
So good. But
so good.
I mean, you jump into that Baron pit and you just die. When you're the super fed LeBlanc, things tend to turn against you pretty quickly.
And then it went so bad.
so bad.
Really just not a great game in that first time for Godbro. They've bounced back since then.
Exactly.
That is a Victor locked in as kind of, Victor has been a very safe mid laner in this tournament. Wave clear, same strength Victor always had. The change just gave him a little bit more damage on that ultimate, and he really hurts.
Very scary in those late game scenarios. And of course, death ray, hard to hit, but if you ever do, incredibly powerful. But I feel like, a lot of magic damage, a lot of engage coming out from the side of Mouse, and I really like this composition from them. They haven't had the strongest showings, but I like that they've built a comp that really lets them force fights.
But it's the first time we're seeing, apart from maybe yesterday, Mouse actually play a regular comp.
True.
It's like, hey, they picked meta picks.
Nuno Callista wasn't doing it for you?
Yeah, we saw a Callista game before, and that wasn't so great either. I mean,
yeah, it was rough, for sure. I think the question is Mouse going to be that super form Mouse where they're playing Teemo, they're playing weird picks, and they're making things happen? Obviously, more standard picks this time around. What exactly are they going to bring to the table? Because Chef6, I mean, by all accounts, seem to have gotten a team comp that works perfectly with how we know they play, and we don't really know what Mouse's best way of playing is. Like, we haven't seen them consistently stick to like split push or team fighting or playing around objectives. They've been all over the place, and it just has not been consistent.
The frustrating thing is Mouse on day one came out the gates swinging and actually had a really good game, and they got a lead, they managed to compound it into a win, and we were like, yeah, Mouse are back, they're great. And then they kind of dishearteningly lose 2 games that follow, and it was a little sad. But
and I completely agree. I mean, Mouse, such a storied team here. And, when they came out with that, we're like, who is this team? This is amazing. Like, look at this play. Look at the way they're working as a team. And then it was immediately downhill. And I think just the instant change, because it's literally the next day.
Yeah.
Everything seemed to have fallen apart. And you have to wonder, is something going on in the team? Or was it, did they just happen to just come together in that instance on day one?
Haha, Thunderlord's Alistair again.
Exactly. And you got to get excited. In for a stormy game. Chef6 on the blue side, Mouse on the red. Caps, he loves the level 1 aggression, and apparently it doesn't matter what he plays. Last time was Reliant Soul, this time it's Victor, and he is making moves to run up.
Already got the 2 autos there. I don't think he's actually going to get that passive proc.
He should just start Spell Thieves every game. Get the extra gold. Oh, damage going down. That's the Thunderlord.
Hang on,
but, no, Norscarin, you're going to get stunned up here. You got to respect the Braum. Level 1. Exhaust comes out. Flash is going to have to come out too. Ignite. Auto. One more. Godbro. He wants it. The flash forward. The auto. The last tick down. Oh my god. That one's actually going to go over to LeBlanc. Upset is next. Dude, Braum level 1 is so strong. Oh my gosh. Upset flashing for his life. Super Ace waiting on that Winter's Fight cooldown. Flash forward. They want to get it. Yes, one auto. Whoa! Cancels the Q animation with the flash. Gets the auto. Super A's. First blood. Caitlyn with the second blood. Godbro with first blood. Caitlyn with the double assist. And Mouse, they needed to find a way to fight back, and this is not the start that they needed.
That's all summoners used by the Mouse bot lane. Still have heal for Nadius. Godbro got a kill, exchange it for both of his summoners. Has to play a little bit more carefully. But that is a big win right now for Chef6 when you look at how they needed to start this game to stamp their mark on this this best of 1 series. So I mean, the group is still wide open. Chef6 here still have the opportunity to climb a little bit in the standings here. A win over Mouse, coming from a start like this, could go a long way.
Absolutely. You can see Nardius already level 2 as well, courtesy of those early creeps. Picking up the Krugs into mid lane. Victor, we can expect him to struggle here because that LeBlanc just manages to go back, buy an extra pair of boots, and it's going to be that much harder to hit the death ray in these trades.
Godbro wants to go in.
Quick level 2. Caps trading back though. So proactive play. Caps not letting that first blood scare him. Making sure to punish Godbro's aggressive play.
Yeah, I mean, Caps knows he's got the barrier available here, and there's no ignite on the side of Godbro. Top lane.
Warden getting aggressive. Nick actually very low. However, Echo, without the parallel convergence, isn't going to be able to punish the low health bar quite yet.
Still no barrier used by Caps. Holding his nerve mid lane. Oh, here comes Kindred.
Syncroft, he's going to need to use something. Moving in. Mounting Dread goes down. 2 stacks. Looking for the third. Caps. Barrier comes out. One more auto. Flash. Auto. Gonna get it. Stack goes down as well for Syncroft.
He stays alive.
Actually, no stack for Syncroft. Just a few seconds away from getting that one to proc.
Still gets the kill, though, in the middle lane. Even gives the assist over, I believe, to Godbro in that situation again. Man, this is a tough game for Mouse to start on. This is exactly how Chef6 started their day 1, game 1, matchup. And As long as this one has a better ending for SZ6, you got to think that they're happy about this start.
Absolutely. 3-0 the start. So strong in each of the individual lanes. Jungle moving in as well. And you can see Dan getting something back. He is going to snag that red buff for himself. So good proactive counter jungling. Going to shut down any kind of, or any other early aggression coming in from the Kindred. I feel like she may need that red buff, but Victor, of course, still marked out here, and Syncroft may be hungry for another gank.
Syncroft just found himself a ward. Early pink ward, places it in the one place in the lower jungle that there is a ward there from Dan, so they know where he is at least. Wardane's stuck around top.
Moving forward, Wardane may have to run his way out of this one. Parallel Convergence comes down, NIQ not going to get hit. Moving through, using that movement speed to take him to safety. Arcane Smash. Not going to back it up, but a quick trade of blows. Wardane, of course, still has the TP, and we can imagine that it's not going to be too effective at this stage.
Yeah, Wardane may choose to TP back, may choose to just walk it. I mean, Maokai at that point did take a fair amount of damage in exchange from Echo. Wardane starts walking, then TPs.
Syncroft is going to get smite before Dan in this exchange, but Dan does have the level advantage. Victor's moving up. Syncroft, he wants that stack. Cocoon not quite going to land. Caps! That's a lot of damage, but Chain doesn't land, and the trade goes back to Godbro.
Yeah, Godbro thought that he would get somebody kiting backwards, or at least trying to run back out of that fight. Did not quite get the angle right on that. Was banking on somebody running away. Couldn't quite get the combo down, and despite having a lead bottom lane.
Good block coming out from Super Ace. You see the farm just about even, but SZ6 eager to kind of try to punish out here. Mouse looking surprisingly comfortable. No tier for the Ezreal quite yet. And across the map, the biggest surprising thing here is that Godbro is really struggling in farm in this mid lane. Yeah,
he's getting pushed in constantly. Does have his Ignite available now. Cap's not quite with the barrier, but Godbro being pushed back so much, it's kind of a race for 6 right now. Godbro is over half the level there. Caps is not quite level 5, so Godbro does have a small window where he may be able to kill Caps if he gets the right opportunity.
Yeah, Ignite up for LeBlanc. Barrier still a few seconds away from the Victor, so if he can hit that soon, may be able to go in. Top lane, it's the nerf fight.
Yeah, it's
no sharp tools up there.
It's Echo and it's Maokai.
Yep.
I mean, we've seen that a lot.
Yeah, no doubt. Moving forward, what do you think the big break point is here? I mean, are we just waiting for the jungle pressure to pay off? We talked about level 6. Godbro's there. Do you think this is it?
Not sure about under the turret, but look at the damage already onto Caps.
He's just so close to hitting those chains every time, but he just does not quite land them, and that's a huge difference for those Sigils of Silence.
Watch out, Dan coming bottom lane. Here's the engage by Mouse.
But pulverized. Nardi is trying to make it to safety. Ezreal going to arcane shift in. Mounting Dread goes forward. Syncroft getting stunned up, but Alistar's stunned. Nardi is getting blocked out. Great use of the concussive blows. Elise goes up, comes down, flashes out. Heal used to take her to safety. Fight is going to back off. Aggression briefly stopped.
Nadius looked to be in a lot of trouble there as the Alistar engaged. Godbro mid lane onto Caps, goes in.
2 finally landing the chains. Caps locked up. He's going to back off here though. LeBlanc low on mana, low on health. Barrier available for the Victor as well.
Got baited by our observers mid lane. Thought we were about to get another kill on this game. Nadius looked to be in trouble. Did have his flash available in that bottom lane when Alistar engaged. Mouse actually did not know that Syncroft was bot lane. They thought they had a 3 versus 2 advantage. And that's why it looked a little bit more precarious for Dan. Oh, Godbro got chunked down very hard before that little exchange.
God, Chaos Storm comes out there. You could just get popped in an instant. Moving in, though, Dan and Cap's going to throw down some pressure. They know LeBlanc has to back here. And pressure really in every lane as Echo continues to bully out on the top side. And believe it or not, Alistar and Ezreal just doing a really good job of pushing as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's been difficult for Nadius actually to harass down. A little bit more sustain on the side of Mouse with that Alistar. Ooh, top lane.
A lot of damage, forcing the ult out from Echo. Good play from an IQ. He's still going to have his own, but running relatively low on mana. Syncroft now headed up to the top side. Dan not actually going to mirror him. Ping's coming in. Pink ward coming down. Echo is just to the bush there. Ooh, he looks like he took the bait. The juicy, juicy bait. Moving in though, NIQ, he might drop down as well. Flash comes forward. Is going to get locked up. It's going to be the 1-for-1 trade in the end. Great pickup from Wardain.
Nick thought he was flashing just to get distance away from the
Godbro.
Echo. Oh, the damage.
Oh, the comedy of errors. Godbro missing his shots, but Caps having no issues. Gravity field ticking down. Godbro potentially in trouble. The flash forward. The tower just outside of tower range. Godbro moving forward. He has the ignite.
No distortion yet. Barrier is available for Caps.
Has it now. Move forward. Ignite. Shield comes back to the Victor. He should be safe, but Syncroft is looking for a fight too. Dan is going to take a single shower shot. Moving in. Dan getting burned down. Victor moving forward. Move forward. Invulnerable. Lamb's respite drops as well.
So
Godbro, he wants to go in. Who's going to go down? It looks like Mouse coming out on top. Dangerous game, saving the day as they walk out of that play.
Oh man, Godbro could not quite get the ultimate distortion after he went over the wall. Didn't want to risk going in 1 versus 2 and dying. And that was Syncroft. Oh, everybody was so low in that Kindred ultimate available, couldn't quite stay alive. Nick TP'd into the middle lane, though, at the end of it. Can't really capitalize on that, so Nick, a little bit unfortunate in his plays the last couple of moments. Tried to flash away from the damage in the top side. Now teleporting in the mid lane for nothing is going to lose a lot of lane advantage. Look at that big wave being pushed under the turret. That's going to fall before Nick can ever get there.
Yeah, and look at Caps still has barrier after all that. What confidence to not use that summoner spell overall. So we got to say, great execution coming in from Mouse on the response to that play, and we'll take a look at it one more time. These health bars, they may be low, but it just doesn't feel like it matters in this fight.
That shield from the Q, just, it was still plenty of health left for Caps, but this is not what you like to see as a Kindred. When everybody is low and you're this early on into the game and it's just like, I'm as low as they are, and they just have more damage from having 2 people.
You got to really feel for Syncroft there. I think he accidentally stepped forward instead of auto-attacking the Elise, and it was literally the difference between one auto-attack. Elise goes up in the air. She comes down perfectly into Lamb's respite, but now perfectly into the bottom lane as Super Ace has to try to run to safety. Exhaust comes out. Elise has the red buff. Nardi is actually going to get picked up here by Wardain. Great teleport. Braum is up next, and Mouse, they're making moves on the map.
Yeah, they're getting it all bottom side as well right here, bringing the Echo down from Wardain. Godbro from the mid lane is still trying to go aggressive, but has to deal with this Victor damage. Syncroft even just showed himself. Despite this being a difficult Drake to take, Dan's going to try on his own. Mountain Drake does have the lowest DPS of all the Drakes, but it has the highest resistances, so it takes a long time, even with Spiderlings.
Slowly working through that health bar, as you said. The most resistances, Dan trying to get the Spiderlings to take a little bit of this damage. They're not quite so willing, as Syncroft has now gotten into a little bit of a brawl here with Wardain, and that's actually a lot of damage coming in from the Echo. Syncroft, though, determined to pick up that camp, will use the smite in the end. And Godbro taking a lot of poke here. Ezreal packing up the Elise take, and they will grab that Earth Drake Infernal next on the menu. Speaking
of Ezreal, something we were kind of pondering after 6.8 changes was exactly how Ezreals were going to build, because, you know, for a very long time it had been blue build, where you get the tier, you stack it up, and, you know, you got to wait a little bit later in the game. Upset, going for what we were starting to be a little, we were starting to think would come back in, which is you go the Infinity Edge route, and actually, sorry, not Infinity Edge, Triforce route,
yeah.
And then you can go Infinity Edge, you can go other items as you go on. It's to do with the nerfs that Iceborne Gauntlet got in 6.8 was why we were expecting it, but never really saw it follow on. Had a base attack damage reduction from 125% your base AD to 100. However, didn't really commonly see it. It's kind of a playstyle thing right now. Obviously, will reduce the ability to kind of kite back without having that Iceborne Gauntlet proc, but is going to increase the damage ever so slightly earlier on in the game, at least.
And makes it difficult for your team to really catch out targets. But Ezreal, of course, with the Rage passive from the why am I blanking on the Phage? Thank you. Will still have a little bit more mobility, but it just really doesn't compare to that Iceborne Gauntlet. So.
Yeah, but at this point, you look at it from Mouse, they've got the parallel conversions, you've got the Elise Cocoon, you've got Alistair as well. They feel like they've got enough to cover for that, and they just want a little bit more damage earlier on in the game when you look at it with this Triforce. So Upset is looking for that route. They've got caps for damage later. We've seen what Victor can do.
Yeah, and we gotta think that maybe they're feeling like they're doing good in lane. They don't want to give it up by building that tier. You know, you're just throwing away 700 gold in the early game. Yeah, it pays off much later, but the immediate payoff of Sheen and Phage is probably feeling pretty good in these bottom lane trades.
And that's the thing, right, is Caitlyn overall is going to have more better scaling anyway. When you get that, she'll like one-shot you.
Yeah, just late game, you're not going to match the range.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day, the range are the guaranteed headshots at a certain point. Moving back, though, you can see Mid lane pretty even in farm, but Victor actually doing insanely well in these trades, and Godbro feels like he went from being the aggressive player to kind of just having to play on the back foot. Caps tanks the tower shot, but he just doesn't even mind. He's got so much wave clear, and that Negatron cloak really just blocking out most of what Godbro has to offer.
Caps, as he said, he's just kind of just sitting there. Says, okay, try and engage. I'll Q you every time I get a shield.
Oh my gosh.
Pops his ult to get the passive.
Chaos Storm. Just trying to bully LeBlanc out of this lane, wants to get a bigger CS advantage, but Dan is moving up into the top side. NIQ has overstayed his welcome. He's going to flash out in addition to the Twist Advance. Will dodge the Cocoon. Nice footwork. Moving in, though, starting to get burned down lower and lower. Has hit that 30% health threshold. Wardane not going to grab the kill, but Dan will pick it up. A killing spree for the man in the jungle for Mouse.
And it's working a lot better for Mouse now. Dan's actually had some sense of presence. This was our big criticism on what was the problem with Mouse when they were running weird jungle picks, is Dan couldn't get involved in the game. Now he's running the Elise. He's had a better early game. That's an engaged bot.
Coming in. Nardius could be in trouble, but Upset's gonna go down first. Norskaren next on the menu. Unbreakable Will is coming in, but is it too late? Caps not gonna drop. Godbro wants to kill. Move forward. Barrier. Great bait. Snaps
Caps
back.
alive.
Oh, Dan, the proc coming in from the runic. Echoes the auto over the wall from Syncroft. An absolute bloodbath.
Alice is still running. Norskaren ace in the hole.
Exactly.
He got him.
Living up to its name.
Got him.
Not quite the ace, but 3 kills across the map in favor of Chef 6.
It was looking so good for Mouse, and then bottom lane, man, Nardius and Super A's, they managed to balance the traps and the Brawn passive, so Nardius hit Upset with the Brawn passive, then he stepped on a trap, got the added auto, and just from there, just chain locked.
It felt like bot lane was going so well for the Ezreal. They had the CS advantage, they still do, but now the 2-1 and 2 Caitlyn, finishing up their Runance, has the additional BF sword. Kindred is getting these stacks as well, and Godbro really hurting in this game, but the rest of the team is doing quite well.
Yeah, the problem is, for Mouse on the other side, all of the kills have gone pretty much to Dan. There's 2 on Wardane, which will be a nice little, you know, prize for Mouse to keep in mind, so that is going to allow their tank to be a little bit stronger. But for Dan right now, having all of their kills tends to be a problem on an Elise. Unless you're building full damage, which Dan's going for that Rallies next, so is going towards damage. Really, it's now on Dan to kind of try and carry a little bit harder in this game.
I would agree. I think a lot more pressure on him than we normally see. You know, at least not always a carry-oriented style pick, but if you're going to grab those early kills, Syncroft getting aggressive, jumping right into that gravity field.
I was going to say, that's ambitious. He's just banking on nobody being past that gravity field.
Moving out, zoning out. He's going to be able to walk away with his life there, but gotta say, we're going to keep watching this top lane, seeing these fights, seeing these trades, although bot lane...
There's the Triforce damage coming out on that Q.
Unbreakable moving in. Norskaren wants this kill, is going to get slowed up. Winner's bite, but Norskaren is actually dishing out a decent amount of damage. Nardius coming in. Dan, who wants to make the plays. That's a lot of damage from the Elise. All comes over the wall. Dan looking for the Cocoon, not going to land it. Chef 6 making it out with their lives. Tower not going to drop quite yet. Wave is on the way.
They get the flash from Nardius and get him low there. You can see Upset, as soon as he got that Trinity Force, wanted to fight. They know Caitlyn is not quite on the Infinity Edge herself, and that meant Mouse had that advantage. Now they can look to push through the turret. Dan is taking away that crab. It did have the Kindred mark on it, and now grants them vision of the next dragon in the game. You can see, though, Chef 6 are looking to kind of group in the rest of Mouse, box them in bottom lane, but they aren't there in time. LeBlanc backs himself away.
This is, I would say Mouse are still doing quite well. I mean, we got excited about all those kills going over, but they haven't really balanced that much out, and Mouse are going to move to take their second tower. They've already got the Earth Dragon.
Infernal is up as well.
Potentially on the way for Mouse as well. You can see 4 members on the bottom side. TP coming in. Here is the flank. Trap goes down as well. Wardane not going to get locked up. Looking to get the stun, but Nardius isn't falling for the trap. Wardane locked up. Can they kill him before he ults back? Tries to predict from Super Ace, but Nardius is all alone. Super Ace is next to fall as well, and things are going so south so quickly on the side of Chef 6. Lamb's Respite drops, but it's more a heal for Mouse than anything else at this stage of the game, and now they're going to be able to move to take that Infernal Drake.
Yeah, just delaying, and Mouse have decided that it wasn't enough for G2 Vodafone to pick up a win after already pretty much being eliminated. They want to pick up a win for themselves here on top of it and really disrupt Group B. Godbro
no.
caught.
You bit off more than you could chew. Upset moving in. Oh, they're going to actually turn this one around. Great surprise play coming in from NIQ to give that kill over, but Dan is still here. Godbro potentially in trouble. Cocoon from the bush. Oh, this is a quick pickup. Dan dominating as he just hops on out of that one.
Oh man, this game has started to go a little bit crazy as Mouse has taken a lead. Dan should be able to take this dragon on his own. There is a ward in the back of the pit. Infernal is the most similar to the previous Drake. Obviously, no real added power to the Infernal Drake when you're taking it.
Nope.
Just
looking for the steal here.
Attack.
Dan taking a decent amount of damage. Is he going to be able to smite this one out? Maokai moving in though. Alistair trying to make sure they can get it to safety. Ooh, good stun to stop any further advance. Is going to make it out from the winner's bite. And like you said, very similar to the old Drake. 8% instead of that 6%. And when you're ahead, that just feels so good. But let's watch this one more time. Great play coming in here from Mouse.
And this becomes very frustrating to watch when you take into account how Mouse are playing. It's scrappy right now, but it's still better than what they've been showing us the last couple of days. Upset just has Nadia's number here. There's no real way of Nadia's actually staying alive. Even gets Super A's through the fight. I mean, Dan is 6-0 right now.
Wow.
And I just feel like this is a different Dan than what we've seen in the last couple of games from them.
And of course, in addition to Dan doing well, Mouse is continuing to grab these big advantages. Victor did, during the course of that replay, take down the top tier 1 tower.
Yeah.
And the gold lead's now extended. 5K for Mouse. The Nunu picking, Rek'Sai picking Mouse are absolutely crushing this game, and we have to praise them for it. Dan has been where he's needed to be, and Mouse seemed to be ready to punish SZ6 anytime they overstep.
The frustrating thing is it's too little too late. I mean, Mouse are already out.
Yeah.
This is not the time to be
maybe, you know, when they're playing for their own dreams, they're maybe not on point, but when they're playing to crush someone else's, man, do they look good.
Maybe. I mean, I guess there's no pressure on them to actually perform, but it's just very disheartening. Maybe I'm being a little too harsh.
Yeah. Well, it's a team you've known and casted for a long time, so hard to let go.
Well, we'll see if SZ6 let go of some of their hopes of staying in the group if this game keeps going like this. But Mouse right now don't have Victor with them.
Victor headed down. LeBlanc maybe looking for the flank. Ult comes out. Not going to hit anybody. Not going to get blocked either. A lot of pressure being laid down from Mouse. Cap's going to take his time in this middle lane. Not feeling so scared of Godbro quite yet. Godbro jumps forward, gets some damage, misses the chain once again though. It's been a rough game for him in terms of accuracy here.
Yeah, it has. I mean, we spoke about and jokingly spoke about how if this was like game 1 that SZ6 played, where Godbro got ahead on LeBlanc, and it looked so good, and then they were being over-aggressive and couldn't really find any kind of fights and got counter-engaged on, that it would be super bad for SZ6. And I mean, it's basically played out. Yeah, here we are.
Dash forward, looking for the chains. Caps with these side steps. This man just does not care.
And now Godbro,
he's actually out of time to hop backwards. Cap's just going to take the 25 gold consolation prize from that exchange. But with all that pressure in the mid lane, Mouse are feeling pretty good to push in here. Yeah. Tower shots moving down. Dan pressuring the sides. This is going to be the 4th tower of the game for Mouse. 38.9 to 32.5, approaching a 7K gold lead. We're only 20 minutes in. God, bro!
Gone, bro.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better. The Caps just obliterates the mid laner on the side of SZ6. And Mouse, the map is theirs. They don't even have vision. They don't even care. They don't even need it. The gold lead is so massive, 7K.
What is the damage coming out from Caps right now? I think Godbro was still quite low after the initial trade that happened previously that we saw, but man, Caps has been on point in reading Godbro. Every time he tries to dash into him, gets hit by a laser.
That's the worst feeling as LeBlanc. Yeah. You like hop back, you think you're dodging the skill, but you definitely got hit by the death ray, and there's definitely a siphon power on its way to hit you in the face. This has not been the greatest game for skill shot accuracy.
You are correct.
Yeah, a little unfortunate.
It looks like one of my games. Really.
I've seen your games.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think you've hit a few more LeBlanc chains than Godbro, unfortunately, for him this time around. I know that's harsh, but the man needs to hit these shots.
Harsh, man.
He's good at this LeBlanc, and I don't know if it's just Caps reading him. and knowing, hey, you're going to throw it left, you always throw it left, you're going to throw it right at me, you always, or predicting these patterns, or if Godbro's just hesitating here and second-guessing himself. But it's not happening, and it feels like there were so many trades that Godbro could have won out on if he had just landed that skill shot.
Well, MOUs are looking on the top side now, clearing out top side jungle, want to get the vision control for themselves, look for top inner. They've been actually fairly diligent about the way they've been pushing in. Not really leaving flank paths available. This time, however, there are a whole bunch of wards for SZ6 on the top side that have not been cleared out yet by Norskeren. MOUs are pushing up, though. Here comes the flank. This is the problem. They haven't dewarded.
Ooh, Syncroft is going to get the damage blocked by Super A's. They're moving forward. Bramall to try to disengage. Godbro finally landing some shots. Hops over the wall. Caps taking a lot of damage, but still they're going to go down here. Braum dishing out so much, or rather Victor dishing out so much. Dan's going to grab another kill. He moves up to Godlike. Ezreal with the ult from nowhere. Dan over the wall, the double kill. The Elise absolutely crushing the map. That is an insane performance here coming in from Mouse.
8-0-4 on Elise right now, and it didn't even matter that there was a TP coming in from Nick all the way in the flank. Nick wasn't even hardly in that fight.
Mouse are taking everything.
Mouse are basically giving themselves a game-winning difference now. This is like an advantage that wins you the game.
This is 10,000 gold. This is 3 completed items on any one character on your team. This is insanity. I mean,
Mouse.
Dragon up in 15 seconds. Mouse take everything. They're pushing in the inhibitor towers. All of the inner and outer towers are already gone. Yeah, 8-14 is the kill score, but that 10k gold lead, and we can watch this one more time.
I mean, this fight setup here, Maokai coming in. Where does Maokai go? I think Maokai goes on to upset here. Tries to go for the Ezreal, yeah, dashes over the wall. I watched it on the minimap. At this point, the rest of SZ6 just dying from here. I don't even know whether Nick would have been enough here. And then Dan comes in, gets that kill, goes back. We saw how this one ended.
Yep. Oh, look, there's the beautiful
Flash,
bam.
yeah.
Flash Q. That animation felt instant, and that's the second Infernal Dragon.
Oh my god.
This is the best time it feels like to have Infernal Dragon. You're already 1 item ahead. You already have 100 more AP than anyone else on the enemy team.
And a Mountain Drake. So as soon as you start hitting the objectives, they're going to win you the game. You're getting that extra damage on top of it. Like, realistically, Mouse should not lose this game.
No.
With this advantage.
No, there's no way. I mean, this is the moment where if... I just can't fathom a loss here for Mouse. I mean, Mouse, you gotta understand, this is a team that has made mistakes. This is a team that has been inconsistent.
Yeah.
But I feel like even with their past failings, a 10k gold lead, Mouse has to come out on top here.
Baron Throw would do it.
Yeah, we gotta,
not wanting to be too glass half empty.
I know, but it's like, so hard to just... this came from nowhere. I can't even cast the team fights correctly because I'm like, how is anyone doing this much damage?
It's just very frustrating to watch Mouse have a performance like this on day 1. And then days 2, 3, and 4 give themselves so many problems in their draft.
Yep. And we have
too many problems to overcome.
We have to hope that coming into next season, wherever Mouse decide to play, if they decide to stick together as a unit, they can keep this level of performance up. Because this level of performance is challenger worthy, no doubt. But if they could do this consistently, they would have a spot in the league. And as they move to take down Baron here, just about completely uncontested, we just have to wonder what's next for these guys, because right now they're showing us great moves. Oh, headbutt, Pulverize not going to land. Nardi has no hope. Wardane, he's not going to stop. He's chasing down here. Victor, he just flashes. He doesn't even care about the Maokai. He's going to pick up the kill onto Kindred. Mouse crushing the map, individual members. It's just different little hunting parties, making sure there's no life left on the side of SZ6. Godbro dashing out to safety, but with the Baron buff up, with Super A's running for his life and 2 members dropping, we have to know that Mouse are going to be coming out on top here.
Super A is just going to execute in the base. I mean, Mouse have got everything in this game. Now they're pushing on for the bottom inhibitor. I mean, Dan is there. Godbro... I mean, Dan's 8-0-6 right now, so I don't know whether I want to go for that higher level than Godbro. Probably has more AP.
Unfortunate case, but he definitely has more items. I don't even know what to say. I'm almost
lost for words.
I'm lost for words.
Good job you're not. Your job's not to talk.
Good thing I'm not a play-by-play caster, right? Here's what's happening. Mouse are crushing Chef6.
I mean,
Mouse have obliterated Chef6. This is a 15K gold lead, and Mouse are the lowest placed team in the standings. This is the definition of an upset. They literally have a member named Upset on their team.
I mean, at the same time, then we've got to try and explain how Mouse, who are looking this good against one of the teams that realistically still had a shot to make it through the Challenger Series qualifiers, an outside chance, be as it may, they're crushing them.
And things don't even make sense. There's a mana immune on the Ezreal. Is this third mana?
I'm actually, like, this game is messing with my brain because it just reinforces, like, we didn't really think that MOUs were going to do amazingly well coming into CSQ. Like, my expectation was not for them to be top of this group, potentially looking to take second. But when you see a performance like this from MOUs, it's like, if they had not gone for weird, funky drafts in multiple games, maybe they would even be top of the group with a performance like this. And yes, Chef6 have made mistakes as well, but here's the last fight.
Engage coming in. Chef6 is the last chance, but members are burning down too quickly. The gold lead is almost insurmountable. There's almost no damage on these Mouse members. They're moving to take the third inhibitor. That's the triple kill for Victor. Godbro running for his life, just trying to buff those damage stats, and is going to have to walk away from this one. Mouse icing on the cake here as Caps is now getting what is the late Quadra. Moving in is Dan. What? Is he going to ruin the perfect record? He is!
That's the game, though.
9-1-9. Mouse finishing out the group stage at 2-3 alongside Chef6 and what is the most one-sided game we have seen this tournament. What do you...
Why? Why was there a Nunu pick and a Rek'Sai pick when you could have picked Elise and done that in more games? Sifa, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Okay. League of Legends, professionalism. Great win from Mouse.
Yeah.
That was insane.
So good. Really nice
Absolutely
game.
stunning. Now, ESG... Sorry, not ESG. Chef6 are now out alongside Mouse. We have to remember that. But let's look at the rest of the standings. If Kick win out, they get first with 4-1. Keep in mind they have yet to play their game against ESG. 4G would then get second at 3-2 with the rest of the teams at 2-3. However, if ESG win, this is where things get complicated. It is a three-way tie between 4G, Kick, and ESG.
That means 4G would then have the head-to-head over Kick, meaning ESG secure first place, and then ESG have the head-to-head over... ESG have the head-to-head over Kick, and then secure second. So it's a little bit weird. So Kick would secure second in that kind of situation. Can you TLDR me for it?
Okay. So 4G is in, for sure. Kick and ESG are fighting for second place. Is essentially what's happening.
That's all we needed to hear. Okay, thank you, Sifa. I made a bit of a hash of my words.
It's a little bit complicated. This is... Oh my god. So so that game was stunning, and we got to praise Mouse at the end of the day. Good performance. I hope that this team can stick together and keep that up because that was stunning. And Chef6, obviously rough road, but same thing. You know, obviously very strong potential from this Polish lineup, but when the pressure's on, you got to get those wins. And Mouse clearly not worried about the pressure whatsoever. It's non-existent for them. Decided to turn that one right on its head, and really we just have to look ahead to our next game because this is it. This is the decider. This will show us which teams are in the final. This will show us the matchups for the finals and put us down to 4 teams. We're going to go from 12 teams to 4 teams in just one game.
Yeah, and then it's all on to best ofs on the Friday. So lots still to play, man. That game is one that is I'm just going to scratch my head at for a very long time as to why did it take so long for MOUs to pick a real jungler. The last 2 days of even with a loss yesterday, still it was a good start for MOUs.
And I gotta say, Caps crushed it that game.
Yeah.
He sidestepped just about every chain. He consistently traded with LeBlanc. Like, LeBlanc would go in for the combo, he'd take 300 damage, and he knew that those cooldowns were gone, and would just immediately run in. He's like, I'm gonna balance out this trade. I don't care. I'm gonna make this happen. And that kind of confidence in an assassin matchup is honestly crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty insane, especially against Godbro's LeBlanc too, to just consistently sidestep those chains. A man who's you know, crushes most of his lane opposition, honestly, especially in CSQ.
Yeah, I mean, man, it just makes me super hyped for our last game, though. Like, having a bit of a weird, crazy upset, or two upsets in a row.
We saw an Annie today. Like, things are getting real.
You got a Swain in there as well. Like, man, there has been so much craziness in this. Man, there is still so much left to play. There's only one game. One game, Sifa. That's all we got left.
That's it.
That is it. But, man, I mean...
So
you look back, we're 29 games down now. I feel like 6-10 seems to...
I forgot that we've been doing this for a while now. Yeah, 29 games.
6-10 seems to be somewhat figured out for this mini-meta that we've got. So unless there are some weird curveballs, I think we should be able to, like, during the break, just write down a pick and ban phase. And
just predict it?
just predict. I'm not going to, just...
We'll see. We'll see. I'll let people know if you start writing stuff down, you start predicting. I feel like one of the big things that we thought would be that there'd be this top lane and this mid lane priority, but we're really going to have to see if it's changed at all in our next coming match, because before we get into that final game of the match, our final game of the day, we are going to take one last break, and we'll see you guys in just a couple minutes.